What's up, nerds? Steve, Tactical Trading. Damn it. I meant to start here. Fuck it, we're doing it live. What's up, nerds? Steve, Tactical Trading. Today we're going to go over the buyer archetypes, the people who buy from us, put them into 7 different buckets. The goal is to hopefully help you guys identify and align with some of these, or one or more of these groups of buyers, and say like, oh, perfect, I'm a rip and shipper. Okay, great, I own an LGS. Like, we work with a lot of different people who are doing a lot of different things, and I think this would just be a helpful kind of guide for people who are definitely new and starting out, absolutely, but also for the people that are doing business with us currently but are trying to tweak their strategy and understand what they need to do to have higher sell-through, churn more volume, and generate better returns. So now that we're doing this live for real, here is the overview. Here's the 7 different buyers that we typically serve, and there are more, but these are like the 7 big categories. Card shops, physical brick and mortar, vendors, guys that are hustling on the weekends, going to local shows, conventions, live streamers, rip and shippers, online retailers, guys that are strictly doing online business. They don't have a physical presence. They just sell everything online, and they leverage their personality. They leverage social media. Next, we have speculators and investors, guys that are sitting back product, typically in larger quantities. We work with a lot of wholesalers as well, and degens. So we'll talk about what I mean by that later. But straight into card shops, and these are in no particular order, but card shops are typically going to be well capitalized. They are going to make most of their money with English product through distribution. The tier, so for anybody who's like, hey man, this guy's just trying to sell his own shit, well, yeah, welcome to business, but like also full disclosure, like if you own a card shop, you have distribution for English product. That just prints cash right now. Like that's the golden ticket. Next to that is typically going to be Japanese. That's the language the hobby started in. That's where a lot of serious collectors still reside. And then Chinese is newer to the scene, right? You've got the exclusives with all the gem sets. Even the mainline sets typically have an exclusive card in them. So card shops are not buying Chinese from us, replacing all of their income with Chinese product. Chinese is supplementing their product, and it's typically going to be a relatively small percentage of their total business. But it gives them another product to sell, and it's not going to be cannibalizing their existing sales, right? And what I mean by that is if somebody's going to come in there and buy a $30 Dark Crystal, which is the Obsidian Flames equivalent in Chinese, box from you, that's probably not the same buyer that wants to come in there and spend $400 on an Obsidian Flames booster box. So, like, you're not cannibalizing your sales by adding Chinese. You're just reaching a new buyer pool. Typically, most Chinese, especially in person, is very high percent returns, but low dollar because they're cheaper products. But you're going to be looking at 40, 50, 60, 100% returns for some of these shops that are running good operations. Most of the card shops that we work with have moderate to deep stock across a lot of different SKUs because they are well capitalized. They have the physical retail space and storage in the back where they can keep the products. They have the shelving to display the product. So most card shops are going to go deeper with stock across a lot of different SKUs and just make their money over time. Again, great way to fill this fill shelf space with product. Most of the Chinese product looks really appealing. It's got great eye appeal. So that's a huge piece of retail shopping. And it's fun and engaging product for budget conscious customers. So again, like the guy who's not going to spend $400 on an English booster box, or think about it maybe in a different way, like the grandfather who brings his grandson in he's certainly not going to buy a $400 booster box for his grandson, but he'll probably spend $30, right? So like that's there's a lot of reasons that physical brick and mortars win with Chinese, but here's just some of them. Hopefully that's helpful. Vendors. So guys that are hustling on the weekends, like typically you're probably not going to have deep stock, right? A lot of guys that are doing vendors that are doing local conventions, they're looking for that high liquidity injection event, which is the show. And they want to have like a really knockout Saturday, Sunday to just like liquidate 10 grand, 20 grand worth of product. And we're not talking about like your Collecticons here. We're not selling, 50 cases of gem sets to a guy who lives in New York, who's packing up 3 suitcases, checking luggage, and flying that to the Dallas Collecticon. Like That's not really the customer that we're talking about here. We're talking about like the weekend warrior that has, and I live in the middle of nowhere, and I have a convention center that does a pretty good show. It's the Civic Center, about 40 minutes away from where I'm at. They do a great show. I went there in person, met a lot of great people. But like those more local shows that you can fill your truck up with, and you could throw 5, 6, 7, 8 cases, and if you're making 10 or 20 bucks a box, like that can be a really, really good weekend. So we're not really talking about super well established businesses. We're talking about the guys that are really hustling shows. So gym sets do really well. There's typically going to be enough educated customers at these card shows to when they see the gym sets, they do want to buy it. And most of the vendors at the card shows probably don't have access to it, right? So it's a really good. It catches people's eyes. Most people who are into Pokemon that are going to shows like this, that are spending their weekends at shows, like they know what the gym sets are, but most vendors do not have gym sets in stock. So some popular products for them are going to be like the gym badge product, 30th anniversary, gym sets, anything that's like smaller dollar or has exclusive art. Like those are great things and will typically drive like really strong margins. Mainline sets do work because the price points are so low, but they're not going to be as popular because they just don't have that level of notoriety. So hopefully that's helpful for anybody who's doing like weekend shows, really grinding out the vendor scene. Have a lot of guys that are doing really well with Chinese. Next, we'll move on to the live streamers and the Rip and Ship community. This is a weird one, right? Like, it is 100% dependent on the buy-in of the host of the stream, right? Like, if you have somebody who doesn't like Chinese at all, who's ripping Chinese packs, like, they're not going to create any kind of hype. They're not going to create any kind of FOMO. They're not going to drive that traction. But if you're somebody who's like, hey man, Chinese is cool. It's relatively inexpensive when you compare it to English, and the chase cards are insane. If you have that excitement and that energy on camera, gym sets are going to crush for you. 151 is going to crush for you. The product has everything that you need to drive a very engaging stream. And it really just takes one hit, right? And the hit rates in the gym sets are generous enough to where you can have a very lucrative night. Where we see the most success with live streamers and rip and shippers are people who are fast to market. They recognize market trends, like the new Chasing Glory Together set that comes out tomorrow. The rip and shippers that get that product in from us quickly and drive that in their advertising and just want to like blast that for the first week of release, it's going to do very well. So that is going to be a very high liquidity event for rip and shippers, and any exclusive set that releases will be. So Gem 6 is anticipated to come out here in the next 4 or 5 weeks as well. Like the rip and shippers that get on that early and they have that product in hand a week, 10 days after release in mainland China, that probably means you're one of the first people in the United States to have it. So like that is really where the rip and shippers look at Chinese. You just want to follow those hype cycles, right? Like rip and shipping is all about having a group of people together that are willing to gamble, essentially, right? And having a new set that is in demand, that has a cool chase card. Like again, hit rates are better than English. Great scenario for success if you're doing it right. But again, it's got to be somebody who believes in the product and actually enjoys ripping Chinese. Also can be a great traffic driver. People who do like raffles and things inside the rip and ships, like you could do Gem 4, pull the Ponyta, you get a booster box, right? So with the rip and shippers though, I would say like stick with the exclusives. I wouldn't go buy like mainline sets. We talked about the Dark Crystal Blaze, which is the Obsidian Flames equivalent in Chinese. Like that's probably not going to be a great seller for a rip and shipper. You really want to stick to the things that have the hype and those chase cards. All right, speculators and investors. We work with a few of these guys, and this is like kind of where my origin story came from, right? Like I wanted to invest in Pokemon long-term, sit on sealed product, and like that was my goal when I started tactical trading. So typically your speculators and investors in Chinese are going to be very well capitalized because they're going to prioritize English first and then maybe Japanese second. They're going to look at things like the Pokemon Center boxes or any kind of exclusive promo Japanese product. Like that's going to be where most of your speculators and investors are probably looking. And when I say speculators and investors, I mean guys that want to sit on sealed products and believe in that philosophy. I'm not really talking about the guys that are speccing on slabs so much, but more like sealed product. So most of these guys are going to be well capitalized because they are looking at English first, and then they're probably looking at Japanese, but they're drawing correlations between the exclusive Japanese of the past, right? Like the ponchos, like the exclusive Pokemon Center boxes, and they're saying like, okay, there's enough of a parallel here with Chinese exclusivity in these gym sets. Like I want exposure to that long term. So, and they just want, and these guys are easy to work with because they're pretty simple. Like they're well capitalized. They want better entry points than they can get on eBay, and they want worry-free buying from a trusted source. So like that one's pretty easy. Love working with those guys. Also really understand that. So next group of buyers that we have are wholesalers. We obviously are a wholesaler as well. So what we really mean by wholesaler is like if you're running a true wholesale operation and you are really legit, like maybe we serve as a backstop for you. There's a couple guys that we work with that are actually competitors of ours that we've partnered with, and we essentially will just serve as a backstop. When they go out of stock of something, like they can just do a drop ship order from us and it still gets to their customer. They're obviously making less than they would if they sold it direct, but it works, and it's a great way to just keep continuous stock. Because I mean, wholesaling product is difficult. You may have 300, 400, 500 cases deep of a set and think you have a month's worth of inventory, but something happens, all your buyers go in and you have, people buy you out, then you're waiting 2 weeks. You could be out of product for 3, 4, 5 days. So other wholesalers use us as a backstop, and we do drop ship free to the lower 48. So whatever price that you see on our site is the price you pay, but these are also going to be educated buyers that are like, well, hey man, Steve accepts credit cards, so like I'm going to use my Amex Graphite, which is 2% cash back, and right off the bat, like on a $10,000 order, I'm going to make $200, and that's if I mirror the prices from Tactical Trading. So we also do discounted rates for volume players, and this isn't exclusive just to wholesalers. Like if you're doing business with us at a high level, we're gonna give you favorable pricing because you've proven to be easy to work with. You're a great partner. Like we want you to win. We want you to have as much margin when you go to sell this to your customers as possible. So between discounted rates though and cashback on credit card, like wholesalers can legitimately sell this at the same price that we sell it for and make 2, 3, 4, 5%. So on larger volume deals, like there's quite a bit of money there. Tactical Trading has deep stock. We have a warehouse. We have a fulfillment team. So like if you're a Instagram hustler and you're like, hey man, I've got a seed, I'm relatively new, I want to be able to offer Chinese to my customers, but like buying 3 cases right now for me to slowly sell, maybe that's not like the best use of your liquidity today. So like why not just wholesale through us, let us drop ship to your customer, and then keep that liquidity in grading plays and whatever else that you're doing. So like there's a lot of ways that this can be a dynamic thing for you that works very well. And I think this is our last one, Degens. So this is kind of my favorite one because it's just like so volatile, but this is where like people can really do some crazy things. We literally have people that buy cases from us and they just crack the entire case. They open their entire order. They just open it and they grade everything. Typically that's going to be flowing through a service like CGC Fanatics. Strongly encourage you to check out Catch 'em All Collectibles and what he's doing over there. That's 6 weeks back to cash typically. But this is not I'm going to grade all these cards and put them in my closet. No, this is literally like people break down cases. They pull out common Pikachu reverse holos, common Charmanders, common Squirtles, common Gastlys and Gengars, like common cards, $5, $6 cards. In this market, there really are common cards that are $5 or $6 raw that people are cracking out of these cases, and they're just sending them to CGC Fanatics. And the break even is around $11.50. So if you're at least at that level, you're zeroing out. So if you get a couple lucky pristine 10s on common cards that sell for 30, 40, 50 bucks, like it doesn't take a lot of those to offset the whole price of a Gem 5 case. But specifically the example that I think is worth talking about is Gem 2. There's roughly 3 SARs per case. You get 3. Let me back up. For Gem 2, the pull rates are roughly an SIR evolution out of every 3 boxes. So in a case, you're going to be pulling more than 6 SIRs. Now this is over, like if you did a true mass breakdown, that would be your average. So if every card, if you pull 6 SARs out of a Gem 2 case and your average PSA or CGC 10 or Pristine 10, even better, is $250, like you've already broken even on the case. And every single card that you pull that's not an SAR is a Flareon, is a Jolteon, is an Umbreon, is a Master Ball Eevee. Like, they're all evolutions. You can literally just grade all of those cards that you pull. You don't even have to pre-grade. It's again, like, this is a degen play, but like, I've personally done it. I don't do it anymore because I have enough customers that do it that I don't want to compete with them. I just want them to continue having fun. But people are legitimately buying cases, breaking it down, and sending common cards to CGC. Don't underestimate the bull market that we're in. They will sell. $11.50 roughly is your break even on cards. So if you're making your money back, if you're already at break even on your 6 SARs that you pull in the case, like, everything else is gravy. So that's it, guys. Those are the 7 buyer archetypes that we typically serve at Tactical Trading. If you do want to work with us, I'll leave a link down in the description below. You'll just click wholesale registration. We only work with people that are operating as a business, so I will need your resale certificate. But if you're not there, like, you need to go a few steps back and get there. It's very important for you to be successful in this hobby, in my opinion, and many other people's opinion. Like, why are you not leveraging the opportunity to its fullest right now? When you go to wholesale registration, you're just going to drop your resale tax information inside the prompt and give me some information, and you guys will be approved to buy tax-free from Tactical Trading and qualify for free shipping on all orders in the lower 48. So that's all I had, guys, but I appreciate you tuning in, and I will catch you soon. Later.